This video is all about Toth. He is the god of wisdom, knowledge, scribing, teachers or teaching, sacred architecture, sacred structure, the moon, the Akashics. You know, there's just so much that he is the god of, you know? So like I said in my previous videos, he is Google God. Now, he's very much around at the moment, very much around. And I'm here feeling his presence and hearing him. Feeling his presence very strongly because he came in quite strongly with Anubis. Now, I didn't know it at the time until I sat with them that actually Anubis and Toth are upholders of Maat, makes sense. And of course, I've been going on about Maat and obviously Sekhmet and Hathor. And then, of course, now Toth and Anubis come in for good reason, because we really are being called into the divine masculine now to balance. I'm going to do another video on that, but there's a good reason why the divine masculine is showing up quite a lot at the moment. So in walks Toth and Anubis, and they were explaining to me that they were doing when they do the weighing of the feather to the heart to actually to ascertain whether that pharaoh lived by cosmic truth, law, order, justice, whether he lived a good life and gave a good life to others. Okay, that's what the weighing of the heart ceremony is all about. And of course, Anubis would be the one who conducted the weighing of the heart, and of course Toth would document it or write it down, record it. So they were also upholders of Maat, and I thought, well, there you go, there's our divine balance right there. So this video, I want to talk a lot about his 7 principles, because as I've said before, this month of October, I'm going to be sharing with you, not going to go too intensely with it, because these subject matters can get intense and they can get very, very deep, and I think then it becomes overwhelming. But right now, we just want a jump off into understanding what their principles are and really kind of like deep dive into it and let them take you there. So last month in the temple, aka my Zoom room, which by the way is at the end of the month, the last Thursday of the month, this month we're going to be meeting on the Halloween, so I'm looking forward to that. So last temple meeting I was teaching about Maat's 7 principles, and what's so beautiful about learning and working with these 7 principles, which I'm going to get into in a short while, is work with the principle every single day and sit with it and work with it and feel it. All right, so I'm going to give you the list of his 7 principles and give you the basic understanding of what it's about. And as I say, it is surface. If you go into the Kabbalion or you go into his ancient scripture, you can really get into it. But my whole point of my whole teachings in this life is actually to decode and bring simplicity to stuff that can be quite complex. And you start to read it and you're like, oh God, you know, it's like it get a bit overwhelming. So this is kind of like your modern day version of it. See how it sits and sit with them and see how you can apply them in your life. Now, how do these principles work? What are they here for? I call them your power tools. We didn't just come here to be plopped onto the earth like naked and afraid, nothing but a Hessian bag to cover our modesty. No, we were given a map and compass, tools, programmings into our Earth Star chakra that knew where to take us when. We've got a whole navigational system going on here, which we need to remember, including this bloody great tablet of light that Toth gave you, which is your encodements, another video. But you do have a blueprint, aka tablet of light, where everything's in there, your gifts, your abilities, your power tools, even these 7 principles. So these 7 principles give you, because the world is a crazy place to live in, especially if you're a starseed incarnate. You need to know when to play dead. You need to know when to get up and fight. You need to know when to get up and, like, you know what I mean, run, be still, whatever, you know what I mean? And that is where the energy and the frequency goes. You know what I mean? It goes all over the place, right? So you need to be able to move with it, a bit like the Matrix, because to have this misconception that we're like, oh no, we're just all in light, everything's just light and lovely. Yeah, I get that, but also there's a lot of frequency here on Gaia, and that's not real. So it's not about living in light and having your angel wings and flapping around like a cherub. You know what I mean? It's like, and off you go on your unicorn. No, life is life. Here on Gaia, it's always about learning. It's always about, it's a very intense planet to live on, but we're so used to it. And this is about understanding the frequencies and the energies and how to be a portal. So letting that shit slide is being able to let everyday things come at you, like discernment. Say something, don't say something. Do you know what I mean? Like, understand where this frequency is coming from. Do I need to apply a principle here? What's going on here? So you can apply these principles to your life, what's going on right now, or you can apply your life to these principles. So let's get into it, as they say. So number one is the principle of mentalism. Now, this is the whole thing. Mentalism, like we've been told that the ego needs to basically take a back seat. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we need to get rid of our ego. No, we just need to have the ego mind sit behind our heart. Our heart leads the show, and that's our mind that then implements a plan to go with what we sense and feel and what our heart's desires. And the mind says, okay, great, well, we're going to do this, that, and the other. But if the mind leads, it's just going to tell you fearful things because it's got nobody else in front of him. It's just going, oh my God, this is just dangerous. So it's going to tell you things which are like, dangerous. So it's not about the mental body being the bad thing. It's about the feelings and the emotion and the energy that is actually telling you a story. Is your story a fairy tale, a nice one, a comedy, something like that? Or is it an absolute effing nightmare? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you've got to be very mindful as to what stories you're telling yourself. So this is kind of like the principle of mentalism, right? So also as well, this is a beautiful concept, which is completely true, which is where this principle came from. You know, in Mother, Father, God, we were created in their eye, all right? Or through their heart, or whatever you want to have a look at, you know, whatever you look at it. All of this creation is their creation, right? So they had their own manifestation going on. We are seen through the eyes of them. So you can't, and I came to this conclusion when I was on a lot of mushrooms actually in my garden. I was just like, oh, I get it. I was like sat there in my garden, beautiful oak tree, beautiful, like, you know, surroundings. The sun was out, that tree's so beautiful. The garden's beautiful. The dog's beautiful. I was going through that. And then all of a sudden I was just like, so how am I exempt of that? And then there's me. And I was like, but I'm part of this picture. I'm also beautiful. And I kind of had this like realization that I was like, I'm part of this creation. So in God's eyes, or Mother, Father, God, they created all of this because we're God spark. So I'm part of their manifestation. They don't do shit manifestations. They don't come from their mind because they're Mother, Father, God. So if we are part of their manifestation, and that's what the world is in the universe, and we're part of it, how can we not be pure good consciousness, right? Now, also as well, the principle of mentalism also speaks about the vision. You cannot manifest unless you use the mind, okay? Because if you can't see it, you can't visualize it. And if you can't visualize it, you can't create it. Now, I teach a lot with the Heka codes. Heka is magic and medicine. 3 creator gods that go with that. Sia, Hu, and Heka. Sia is the god of vision. So when we work with Sia, he is the beginning factor of that. And he is the one that comes in like a freight train because he's like, no, you're not thinking big enough. No, that's not a vision. That's coming from lack. You know what I mean? And he gets you right with all of your channeling abilities to see, hear, and all the rest of it. And he gets this right because your vision has to be paramount. That comes from the principle of mentalism, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, correspondence. As above, so below. So, I mean, I'm not going to go into depth too much with this because we understand whatever your inner reality is, going back to the story you're telling yourself, that's going to be your outer reality. So understand, as above, so below, so within, so without. Everything comes from within you. So you must remind yourself about this, which is if you want to change your reality out there, change what's going on in here. Because remember, you're this fraction of like energy of just like, you know, and light. And you are like, we're all mirroring each other. And this out here is also our creation, our manifestation. You watching this video now, you've manifested this. I'm part of your manifestation. Thank you. But you know what I'm saying? It's your movie, right? It's your movie. So when you understand it's your movie, the power is placed back in your hands. Nobody's coming at you, bro. Okay. It's happening for you. If you've got stuff going on in your life that's not so great and you're sat there and you're like, don't like this. Well, it's like, it's your movie. You put that character there. So instead of freaking out and wanting to go out there and blame or have a punch up, ask yourself, why did you put that character there? What do I got to learn and understand about this so I can grow, right? So that's going a little bit expanded to the as above, so below, so within, so without. But that is the principle of correspondence. Taking responsibility of what's going on in here changes that out there, which is why I've been banging on like a banshee about the altars that we're all making. It's like, this is the perfect example to uphold the principle of correspondence, right? Because the power is in your fingertips and your hands and your hearts. So pitch up pitch up, make your altar, and do all of those things, and then be at the driving seat of your own creation. Be behind the movie screen. You know what I mean? It's like, this is take responsibility for your creation, right? So as above, so below, right? So within, so without. Number 3, vibration. Everything is vibration. To be an alchemist, okay? To be basically working with magic, working with Heka or anything like that. If you don't understand that everything is vibration, then you know what I mean? That's kind of probably more for the peeps that are sleeping right now because they believe what they can touch and feel and nothing beyond it, probably because of fear. But we understand that everything is vibration. So if everything is vibration, can you not manipulate it? Manipulate it is a healthy word, not necessarily negative. See how your energy went to which side there? But manipulation is a good word because you can manipulate a body into not feeling pain. You can manipulate plasticine to make something else. You can change that frequency from there over there. You can take a shitty friend out your space and put a good one in there. Whatever, replace husbands and wives, whatever you want to do. No, I'm joking. But you understand what I'm saying. It's like everything is vibration. So when you see everything in frequency, okay, the story is only there so you can receive the energy. The story you do not need to buy into. It's only for you to learn so you can experience an energy from that story so you can work with your alchemy, which is vibration. Okay? So that's the principle of vibration. Now, this is my favorite, principle of polarity. Oh, I love this one. Principle of polarity. I'm always teaching about this one because it's just my favorite. So I'm going to liken it to a bowl of water, okay, or a pot of water, super hot water, right? Bubbling away, super hot. You let it cool, and that water gets cooler and cooler and cooler until it becomes cold, right? So what's happened there is the principle of polarity. And what I mean by that is everything is one. So the water is still the water. It's just the varying degrees in temperature is the only thing that's changed. Now, I have a meditation called Mental Alchemy. Go look at it on the Get Activated playlist. But it encompasses this, knowing that every emotion that you feel, if it's negative, its original source, if you upgrade it, is basically that thing that you're seeking for. It's in the same arena. It's right in your hand. So what I mean by that is, say you're suffering with doubt, real bad doubt and anxiety, all the rest of it, but let's say doubt. Now, the opposite to doubt is trust. So in the beginning, before shit happened to us lifetimes ago and we were really plugged into source, we were having a great time, and then something else happened and it knocked our confidence and we trusted a little bit less, but we're still kind of trusting. 80-90% up there. Then something else happens, then we knock it down a little bit and we're like, oh god, that's not so great. Before you know, we're at 50% trusting, are we though? Doubt, trust starts to get mixed up until we get knocked down until we're at the base of that trust, and that is doubt. Now that is just a varying degree of trust. So through vibration, the principle of vibration, okay, through the principle of correspondence, through the principle of mentalism, you see where I'm going with this? You apply all those principles. You've now got to visualize and open your heart and allow that doubt to rise up to the surface and give it space so it can just come up, alchemize, and come back to its original state, which is trust. You know? So you have the power to take the vibration, work with the vibration and conjure it up and draw it up, bring it through your heart, and then allow it to go back into your energy field with the I am prayer. I am trust, I am. I am trust, I am. Go and do the meditation and you'll feel exactly practically in a practical spiritual way what I'm talking about. So that is the principle of polarity, understanding and knowing that nothing is separate. Everything is the same, right? You know what I mean? It's like this glass, it's still a glass. It could be full of water, it could be empty of water, but it's still a glass. Do you know what I mean? Empty or full, okay? That's a great example. Empty or full, okay? So basically, it's still, that's the opposite of each other, isn't it? If it's full, it's full. If it's empty. But if we fill water up, it'll become full again. It's the same glass. Does that make sense? Anyway, let me know if it doesn't. We can do another video. Right. So now, principle of rhythm. Okay, rhythm. Okay, like let's think about this in the death, rebirth, and resurrection rites. Rhythm, natural ebbs and flows. Like I said in my masterclass with the Alchemy of Maat, I actually said, you know, we are really stepping away from, well, we're actually moving into the sacred dance of ebbs and flows, letting go and releasing of the hectic highs and lows. Do you know what I mean? So ebbs and flows are good. This is the Hermetic Principles, working with the energy, moving with it, sensing and feeling what's required for your discernment. But then the extreme highs and lows are like, I'm so happy, I'm bliss codes deluxe. And then you're like super depressed because you've hit an all-time low tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So that's not what we want. Ebbs and flows are different to highs and lows, right? Rhythm is about being, you know, going with that rhythm of life. Okay, so you can see how it all weaves through the principles here, and also as well knowing that, you know, it might feel a bit like that for a moment, but it's okay, this too shall pass. You know what I mean? And then it changes because the principle of polarity is going to make it show you that. Do you know what I mean? So energy comes in as a bit comes through your filter, and it comes you know, so it's like it all weaves into each other. So the rhythm is about being with the rhythm of frequency, being willing to die and surrender, okay, to go into the womb to be able to resurrect. And so it is, so it is, and so it is. Okay, so that's what we do every night we go to sleep. We surrender, we drop the body, and then we resurrect in the morning. I mean, we do it every day, you know, so that is the principle of rhythm. And then number 6, cause and effect. Okay, so cause and effect is, well, I mean, like, think about it. Say something bad about somebody, and it might get to Gillian, who you spoke about because she didn't like her hair, could get back to you. That's a real basic 3D way to just like share it with you. But you know what I'm saying? Cause and effect. Every action has a reaction, right? Think about that on a positive note, though. What's your contribution? Every positive thought, affirmation, moon phase, build an altar, make some requests to spirit. Everything that you have asked for gets delivered. So you speak and you ask and it will be granted. Can you receive it though? That's a whole different video. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about cause and effect. What's your contribution in the world? You know what I mean? What you reap is what you sow. That's actually one of Maat's principles that we were talking about. What are you putting out there for you to receive? Now, if you are putting out there, I'm a victim, or I don't have enough, or you're always apologizing for yourself, or you're just angry or judgmental, or whatever it might be, well, you're going to get more of that out. You know, you're going to get more of that out. And I'm noticing more and more and more that I'm instantly manifesting because my awareness is right on it. And I did something today and it wasn't good. It was a thought that I had towards myself. And then straight away it happened. And I was like, oh, wow, because that was the contribution I put out there. I was blaming somebody for getting my smoothie wrong. Anyway, I got given a short lesson on blaming. By Toth, so funny. But anyway, cause and effect. So understand that your actions have a repercussion in the good sense and also the negative. So be very mindful, focused awareness on what you're putting out there in the world. And then my final one here, gender. Okay, this is basically every masculine energy has a feminine energy. It's very simple. That is basically you can't have scales without one thing missing on the side because then they're not scales. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like everything, like imagine just having like no night and just day. Everything's got to have a divine balance, right? Night and day, light and dark, okay? Shadow and light. This is where a lot of people say, oh no, I'm only of the light. Well, that's absolute bullshit, because at the end of the day, if you're only of the light, you've got no shadow to keep your wheels turning. Toth has made this very, very clear. Distortion is paramount here on Gaia to make the wheel turn, because without it, you are just inertia. You do not move. Right? So we need the shadow to basically balance, to be able to keep it moving, yin and yang, right? Okay, you can't be on all the time, you know? So when we do our workouts and everything like that, if you go and hit loads of weights 24/7 and you don't balance it up with some stretching, you're going to be dry bittlewood and you're going to get injured. Balance is key. And that is a great one to end on here, because that is what the Hermetic Principles bring to us to understand how to bring all of this into balance. Ultimately, that's the Hermetic Principles. That's what it's all about. So this is the Gospel of Marie as far as these Hermetic Principles go. And like I say, I suggest that you work with one every single day. Now, you can go and like Google on the Kabbalion, all sorts of amazing books out there that can take you into a deep dive into this. But for me, I feel that decode it and bring it into this everyday life, because otherwise it gets stuck back there. And that's us as way showers and teachers and everything like that. That's what we're here to do right now, to bring that into the everyday living. Because what the disconnect, because I know a lot of you are out there are teachers. If you're watching this and you're not a teacher, you kind of are deep down, really, because you're getting what I'm putting down, picking it up. This channel is all about awakening. It's all about understanding your divine blueprint, and that we all have major superpowers and we've got a big contribution here. So the reason I'm saying this is, and the reason I'm sharing all these principles this month, is because you're going to go and share them with someone else, right? And we need to bring it through our own filter. Yes, keep it deeply entrenched in the ancient wisdom teachings so they are accurate and just. But we need to be able to bring it through to others that have an understanding of this, because you give them a book of the Kabbalion, they're just going to do an eye roll and just go, don't understand it. Nobody's any further forward. So if you want to take up the challenge now, live by these principles, embody them, and then share them with others, this is what we're doing. This, what I've just explained to you, is major Toth, ancient wisdom, Hermetic teachings. There you go. And it's not that hard to understand, is it? So I'm going to leave this here. This is our first official proper ascension ladder to work by. I will share more. And yeah, let me know how you get on. But speak to Toth. Toth is there to help you. You're going to have a piece to the jigsaw puzzle. He's going to talk to you in a different way about these. Let that be so. Don't hang on my gospel. Do you know what I mean? Bring your own forward. That's super important. So just important things to look out for. There is obviously going to be a temple meet at the end of the month, but more imminently, 10:10 portal, 5 p.m. Central Africa time, live stream on YouTube, and it will be, I don't quite know exactly what it will be about yet, but it will be ceremony, and we'll be channeling and bringing the whole tribe together, which is why I love doing this. And yeah, we'll see you on the 10th. But other than that, peace and good luck with your principles. See you soon.